Another continuation from Slammiversary, June 22nd, Impact. The James Gang and Team 3D are backstage. Instead of fighting, they're doing your mama jokes.
But then it gets personal.
Yeah, most of the jokes surround moms being fat or poor. My favorite part is BG says a line, and then Chris Sabin in the background is just like, incineration! Incineration!
I like to think it's Sabin mocking it.
I think it is. It can't be anything else. Bully then pivots to mocking BG's daddy and then calls the Armstrongs a bunch of losers. That's what makes it personal. They brawl out into the building. Brother Run comes out and turns the tide in favor of 3D. Then Team 3D are like, we give you 7 days to find a partner. We'll do a 6-man tag at Victory Road. We got our 3. You have your dad, maybe? Your dad? You could pick your dad. And Tanae's like, oh, yeah, they could pick his dad. That should be the 6th man.
Yeah, I think they're going to pick their dad. Their dad. He's also Billy's dad.
Yeah, that's canon. June 29th, Impact, Team 3D faced America's Most Wanted in a no disqualification match. AMW hid at the top of the ramp and covered their ears so they could not be deafened by the pyro, so they could ambush Team 3D. Bully waffles Harris with a keyboard, which Harris got color for on this TV match. Runt hits a golf club into a trash can on Gale. Harris and Storm argued over whether to use a trash can or a beer bottle, and I really think it should have been the handcuffs or the beer bottle. That would have made much more sense, but anyway. Opening the door for 3D to pin Harris with a 3D after Harris accidentally hits Storm with a can.
It would have made more sense too, because like those are two different strategies.
Yeah.
It's like, if we go for the handcuffs, we have one idea of how to beat them. If we go for the bottle, it's like another one. With the two weapons, it's just, which one are we going to hit them with?
Yeah, because the handcuffs, it's like, oh, we can take Bully out and isolate Devon, as opposed to just one shot with the bottle and hope we win.
It also goes better to their characters, because like James is a little dumber and goes for like the kill shot. Harris is like, oh, I have a strategy. Let's go for the strategy.
Yeah. The Harris was pinned after he accidentally hit Storm with the trash can and ate a 3D. James Gang came out. They have their better song now, by the way. The dun 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 dun. Actually, no, sorry, that's the VKM song. It's the Nobody Moves, Nobody Gets Hurt song.
Yeah, but it's not the Help Me, They're in My House.
Which is the better one again, but this one is much better than the older James Gang song. So we take steps there.
Yeah. We're gonna get there eventually.
Says, you have your family, I have mine. This is a family affair now. So our partner's Abyss.
Yeah, they're a family. Abyss James. James Mitchell. Oh my god.
It all adds up.
He is a member of the James Gang.
He threw Runt ass first. Storm should join too. Threw a table on the floor as BG does just an obnoxious Jim Ross
They
impression.
should have done a segment where they went to all the Jameses.
In TNA history, Mickey shows up from the future. July 13th, Abyss faces Norman Smiley. Before the match, Mitchell explains that for the right price, he'd have Abyss split his grandmother's skull open with a steel pipe.
That's awesome.
And Abyss and James Gang will do way more than that at Victory Road. Black Hole Slam for the win. James Gang come out. BG asks if Mitchell promises that Abyss will fight by their side, which feels like a thing they should have confirmed before they picked him as their partner. But Mitchell shakes BG's hand and they've made a deal with the devil, and Abyss aggressively fist bumps BG.
And also, we gotta remember, James Mitchell never breaks a promise.
Yeah, you make a deal with the devil, it always goes well.
Yeah, but he said before, he never breaks a promise. That's his thing.
JB at Victory Road has Team 3D. They promised violence. They made a deal with the devil to get Abyss, but they'll fail tonight. They didn't, because the James Gang and Abyss won. So
yeah, exactly.
The highlight of all of this is the beginning of Abyss and Runt.
Yeah, this is what I want.
They're perfect. I don't remember them having like a great match, but they do a bunch of stupid shit. So
Abyss, that's his name.
The highlight of this being Abyss press slams Brother Runt into the crowd.
Yeah. Do the spot.
The famous crowd surfing spot, which is fine, except the crowd fucking dump Brother Runt out onto the top of his goddamn head.
They hit him with like straight up like Dr. Death Steve Williams in the middle of the World Tag League finals. Just fucking dumping him straight on his fucking head with like the press slam.
I really wonder what was going through that poor man's head the second that happened. Because it's just like, oh, guys, who are you, the fucking Miz?
Well, it's worse because they caught him. They chose to kill him.
Yeah, they caught him, they surfed him for a while, and then just dumped him. They just dumped him out. Oh.
It's so much worse than anything Abyss could have done to him in that moment.
It really is. The ass first through the table was much more pleasant than that. Bully, Staples, and ECW Fears TNA signed to Abyss.
Twice. He gets them the second time.
Yeah, it didn't really work the first. Runt hits a double stomp off the ramp onto Abyss. They do some floor brawling before Abyss hits a black hole slam onto Runt onto a table that doesn't break, and Abyss just keeps like pushing downward until the table falls over.
It's like he had so much like time to like just lift him and put him through it again, but he just chose to muscle him into the ground.
Just keep pushing and that table will collapse. And it did. He was right. Abyss pins Runt. So that's our feud coming out of this. Regarding James Mitchell in WWE, he said he's under contract with TNA until May and is very happy with his position as manager of Abyss. He said he never contacted WWE management about coming in, nor did they contact him. There were WWE wrestlers talking about it regarding talks Mitchell had with some of the wrestlers. There were some wrestlers talking about it in WWE, including the idea of him managing Sabu, but it was more in the guise of people who wanted him in ECW more than him trying to pitch it himself. In the end, obviously, under contract till May, he's not going anywhere.
It's like crazy how perfect of like an ECW revival roster there was out at the time.
And all of them signed to TNA.
Yeah, or they like stayed in ROH.
Yeah.
It's like wild.
And then they were stuck with like Stevie Richards and Balls Mahoney, as you said.
Hey, don't talk shit about Dr. Stevie, okay?
I guess they got like Sandman back, and they got Sabu back. So it wasn't nothing.
They got Punk. So they got like a handful of like everyone cool that you'd want.
But yeah, and WWE weren't willing to sign the good wrestlers at that point either. Like Punk was even then an unusual signing for them.
Yeah, begrudgingly they decided to sign the guy who would be like the biggest star of the 2010s for 5 years.
That's always the way it is, isn't it? Everything good WWE does, they have to be dragged into kicking and screaming.
Yeah.
So